Hi, Dr. David here, author of Sex Under the Influence, brand new book out. Check it out, is really the ultimate word on chemsex or sexualized drug use. I want to answer another reader's comment today, a question, and that is really what is the best therapeutic approach for chemsex? Now I'm putting on my therapist hat here. What does that even mean? So what do we do? So I want to address that in two ways. One is the kind of particular psychological or therapeutic intervention, and then how that looks kind of on the ground. So the first thing I think is really important is skills, because really the addiction, any addiction, but especially chemsex when it's sex and drugs, is a coping mechanism. It's how I deal with stuff, how I deal with fear and hurt and anger and loneliness and feeling good and boredom and all these things that we do to kind of fill time and space. And so really understanding skills to kind of manage those cravings, skills to start to develop empathy and compassion and figure out what I want. If I'm in a relationship, how to distinguish between what I want and you want, how to negotiate that, how to talk about that. I find the best set of skills for that is DBT. It's called Dialectical Behavioral Therapy. There's a lot of wonderful toolkits out there, workbooks. So I think that skills piece is really important. The second element I would add for a therapeutic approach to chemsex is what I would call a psychodynamic approach, meaning at some point we have to kind of dig around a little bit as therapists. There's almost always trauma involved, trauma healing, trauma resolution, trauma therapy may be part of that, but really kind of looking at where did I get some of these patterns and beliefs about myself that I have to change. And often those go way back, right? So I think having some kind of informed approach that's not only trauma informed, but really informed to look at what happened to me in my past and how can I change that. That's a really important thing. And finally, overall, I think it's really important to have approaches that are not shaming. I remember a friend of mine once said, shame does not heal shame. Every addict is riddled with shame, especially sex and porn addicts and chemsex addicts. So I think to really kind of shame them and have that kind of critical approach it doesn't work. We really need to be a collaborative approach that where the therapist and the client are kind of working together to solve this. Believe me, the client, the sex addict, the chemsex addict has plenty of shame to go around. They don't need any more from anybody else. It's learning how to deal with that and get rid of some of that, offload some of that shame. That's key. And then finally, how does this look on the ground? I think probably the best practices is really outpatient, long-term outpatient. This could be a partial hospitalization, it could be intensive outpatient, it could be IOP, but it has to be sort of shorter groups for a long, long time. The matrix model, the best practice talks about outpatient groups once a day up to a year. And so once people are stabilized, with any psychosis, things like that, to get themselves checked out, probably to drop into some more of an outpatient program that goes for a long time is the best way to do it. Dr. David here, signing out. Talk to you soon.